About 16 million years ago, the Indian subcontinent slammed into Asia. The sheer force of that impact buckled the Earth's crust and pushed up the highest mountain range on the planet, the Himalayas. But building mountains is a messy process. As those massive peaks rose, huge volumes of rock and sediment were sheared off and washed back down the southern slopes. Over millions of years, this solidified detritus piled up to form a lower, younger chain of mountains, known as the Shivalik Hills. It's essentially a giant geological debris field. Because these lower hills are made of poorly consolidated sandstone and conglomerate rock, they are inherently unstable. The terrain here is crumbly, constantly shifting, and highly prone to rapid erosion. This crumbling geography creates a bizarre hydrological side effect. When mountain streams hit certain patches of coarse gravel and boulders at the base of the hills, the rivers frequently disappear entirely, percolating underground and leaving the surface completely dry. By all conventional logic, a landscape that is rapidly eroding and routinely swallowing its own surface water should struggle to support complex life. Yet this specific 1,300 square kilometer patch of crumbling rock, the Jim Corbett Wilderness, holds a statistical anomaly. This map shows that tiger density here averages 20 animals per 100 square kilometers, making it one of the most crowded tiger habitats on Earth. Tectonic fractures between these mountain ranges created massive structural depressions called duns. Instead of acting like normal sloping river valleys, duns operate like giant natural catchment basins. Flowing straight through these depressions is the Ramganga River. It acts as a perennial hydrological pulse, bringing a continuous supply of fresh, rain-fed water down from the higher mountains and pooling it in these broad, fertile basins. This schematic shows a cross-section of the sub-Himalayan terrain. Descending water hits the porous Bhabar Tract and filters downward, diving underground. But the sloping bedrock forces that water back up further south, creating the Terai, a humid, spring-fed swampland. This unique geographical plumbing system captures, filters, and concentrates moisture and nutrients into a very tight area. It sets the stage for the growth that follows. That concentrated moisture feeds a dominant species, the sal tree. Sal forests blanket about 75% of the region, growing in dense, vertical stands that reach up to 40 meters high. But the forest's success creates a problem. The sal canopy is so thick that it blocks the sun from reaching the forest floor. Without light, the grasses and understory plants that herbivores rely on would quickly die off. To keep the system from stagnating, the forest relies on a heavy-duty demolition crew, the Asian elephant. Elephants are massive, and their foraging is physically destructive. As herds migrate through the woods, they push over whole trees, snap thick branches, and trample heavy brush. This engineering work tears holes directly into the dense upper canopy. By letting the sunlight back in, the elephants maintain the chars, expansive, wide-open savanna grasslands. These grassy depressions provide the primary grazing grounds for the massive local herds of deer. Without the daily engineering work of the elephants, the forest floor would remain in shadow, collapsing the food chain from the bottom up. Because the elephants maintain those rich grasslands, Corbett supports a massive population of ungulates like the spotted deer and sambar. And a high concentration of deer provides the perfect hunting ground for the apex predator. Bengal tigers do not hunt by chasing their prey over long distances. Instead, they rely on absolute stealth, creeping in incredibly close before unleashing a short, explosive burst of power. To stay hidden, the tiger leverages a specific optical phenomenon called the Tyndall effect. As sunlight filters through the trunks and dense leaves of the sal trees, it splits into alternating bands of bright vertical light and deep shadow. The tiger's coat is a perfect adaptation to this specific environment. Those black stripes biologically mimic the exact vertical lines of the tree trunks and the slicing rays of light, making a 400-pound predator practically invisible. Everything here is connected in a precise sequence. The tiger's iconic stripes are a response to the light filtering through the sal forest, cleared by the elephant, fed by the river's water, and trapped by the mountain's debris. But modern activity has begun to break the gears of this perfectly tuned biological machine. In the 1970s, the Kalagar Gam flooded 42 square kilometers of prime riparian grasslands, drowning the natural pulse of the Ramganga River. On the ground, an aggressive invasive shrub known as Lantana chimera has taken root. It spreads rapidly across the forest floor, suppressing the growth of native tree saplings and degrading the quality of the grazing pastures. Most concerning is the spatial squeeze. As agriculture and urban centers expand, they cut off the ancient migratory corridors. When elephant herds are restricted, they can no longer maintain the wider forest. Conservation here is a commitment to the entire system, preserving the free-flowing rivers, the open wildlife corridors, and the engineering work of megafauna. It is this continuous cascade of forces that